Hey everybody, happy May. I guess it's halfway through May already. It feels like it's been quite a while. I've been traveling. Really good to be back, and even better to be back with my good friend Luke here. Luke Whitelock is director of product management here at NinjaOne. A lot of you folks are obviously very familiar with Luke. Hey Dalton and other folks here watching. Thanks for tuning in. So we're back in action with another set of streams this week. This is the first of them. We have another one coming up on Thursday. That's going to have Dan Myers, our product manager, who's in charge of backup, but also has led the development of OS deployment. And so he's going to be talking about some new things you can do with the official release of 13.0, which I believe everybody should have access to, with the exception of anyone who's on our FedRAMP instance, which is a little bit behind. But yeah, Walker, what's up? Oh, Walker, what time is it for you there? I was actually in your part of the world very recently, and crossing the date line is a huge mind screw for me. My kids are still recovering and waking up at odd hours in the night. Anyway, let's get to the topic of the day. So, Luke, you are overseeing an rapidly expanding world of NinjaOne products and capabilities. You started off with ticketing, documentation. That's expanded into now asset management, to billing, and some of these things we're bundling together to release, to package and release as a PSA, right? Walker, the midnight hour. Well, let's go. So today we're going to be talking about something that folks have had a hard time tracking for a while and get a hold of, right? When you're managing a ton of users across, in MSP cases, multiple companies, keeping track of software licenses can be a huge pain. It also can have real revenue consequences for the company or for yourself if you're covering the cost of any of these things. So obviously something you want to keep track of. Luke, tell us about how you were approaching this issue, how it impacted you when you were an MSP, and how we're bringing this into Ninja, how we're helping people get a hold of it.
Sure. So software licenses has always been a nightmare. Like making sure you've got up-to-date usage information, understanding who's using what, and even more importantly, like when did something change? Like you always get that phone call from a customer, especially as an MSP, saying like, why are you billing me for 20 of these when I've only got 17 staff? And it's always time to go back to the audit log, explain exactly what's gone on, how you've ended up in that situation. So we really try to just take the approach to allow as many different avenues for automating software licenses inside Ninja as possible. And then with our latest release in 13, we've now titled that data from asset management, software license management into the billing module as well. So you can now just take your license data straight from asset management and put it on invoices for your customers. And then you still have all of that functionality that we've got with software licenses, or you've got all of the asset, like all of the usage history, all of your purchase history. You can see when people were assigned and removed from it. Just try and make it as easy as possible to be able to go and answer those difficult questions when they do come up.
Very cool. Well, excited to have you here to show people what this actually looks like and give a demo and everything. As always, hey Robert, as always, feel free, interrupt us, ask questions. Also curious for those who are watching right now. Is this something that you've actually started poking into already? Luke, before we dive in, let's do our obligatory, how do you get access to such things? Is this an additional feature that you have to be buying? Do you need to talk to your account manager? How can people get access to what we're about to show?
Sure. So things I'm going to show off today, the software license part of it is part of our asset management tool. So that can be brought separately as a standalone, or it's included with our PSA or service desk bundles. So the billing module is included in both those bundles as well, which is the other part of what I'll be showing off.
Okay, cool. So yeah, anybody who has any questions about that, feel free to join in. Also, I noticed a lot of folks are members of our Discord. You can always join the Discord and ask us. You can tag Luke and myself directly, although leave Luke alone for a little bit. He's in the UK. Be mindful of hours. Although if you're like Walker, you're a night owl too. But anyway, you can join our Discord, and we're very happy to respond to you and lead you in the right direction. Okay, let's get into it. I'll bring up your screen, Luke.
Awesome. Cool. So license management, as I mentioned, is part of asset management. So to get access to that, if you just come into apps, make sure you've got IT asset management enabled. And for the billing parts and the invoicing parts, we need NinjaOne billing enabled as well. So if we come back to the dashboard and start, we've got on the left-hand side, we've got the license management section where we can go in and see all of the licenses that we've got configured. I'll show you a mix of things that we've added in 13, as well as just the general feature, so you can get a good overview of everything that's going on here. So if you go to add a software license, we can do things like give it a name, like Adobe Acrobat. License type is where we're giving you different options of how you can start to update and set the license quantities for a license. So the ones that we've got, which are native and just automatic, is we've got a per device automatic option. When you select this, you can come in and you have a few different options of how you can then say which devices will have a license. The first and most easy is probably the filtered by devices with specific software. If we come in here, you can just search your software inventory, add in all the different things that you'd like. The other option we have is for customers who are also using our vulnerability management. We're hooking into their AI-based name normalization. So in here, you can just come in and say something like Acrobat, and that will then just go use that data and generate that whole, do the lookups and everything for you there. Another option we got is per device manual. So this is where if you just want to assign things manually, you can come in here, manually assign devices onto a license. On the user side, we again have an automatic and a manual option. Manual is obviously you're just going to manually assign them to it. And automatic is where we made a bunch of improvements now in the latest release. So in this assignment, we used to just support assigning end users, but now we've extended this to be able to assign to technicians as well, where you can then just pick any of the roles. Or you can also do it via just assign any contacts that match the license scope. So if we come back to general, talking about the license scope, we have a couple of options here. So we have a global scope, which means it's going to be across everything inside Ninja. All of your companies, all of your organizations, they'll just look across everything to get your accounts. Or limited, which is where you can then start to assign and say, no, this license is for a specific organization. So if you're an MSP, you'd probably want to limit it down to an organization. If you're an internal IT company, you'd probably care about the global scope. In here, you can choose to limit to a specific org. And then you can also just limit it down to org, sorry. So coming back up, we also have the ability to select publishers and vendors. So in here, I could say Microsoft as a publisher. Vendor, I could say I buy my Microsoft licenses from Pax8. Next release, we're going to give you the ability to manage these, and we'll have some admin sections around these. So it'll be coming shortly. And then we've got options around setting how many things have been purchased. So if we look here, we can come in and say, hey, on this date, we bought 20 licenses. And you can say that's just set the purchase date as well. Then another new thing we've added in for 13 is the ability to start tracking the cost as well. So you can say, I want to track the total cost. So this is if you've got a contract where you bought 20 licenses, the contract is for that amount of licenses. You don't have a per license cost. Or if you just have a cost per license, you can come in here and say, this is my cost for each license, and we'll just calculate a total based off that. The last option we've got around license types is custom. So this is just going to let you set a purchase quantity and also just a usage quantity manually. So you can say we bought 20 and we're manually using 19. Custom comes in really useful. I'll show you this in a little bit later, especially when you're doing like API-based integrations where you're just setting things via the API. You don't need to assign devices or users. You can just track that information from an external source. Then next part and the last part of license management right now is expiration tracking. So in here, we can come in and we can configure when is our license actually up for renewal? When does it expire? So I can say it expires at the end of the month. And then I can say it's going to automatically renew, and it's on a monthly contract. So every time it reaches this, we're just going to add on an extra month automatically, unless you come in and manually cancel this. The other option we have is say you're on a yearly commit. We can come in and say, I want to generate an activity, say 45 days before it expires. If we want to go and do any contract negotiation, we want to go and make sure we've got the right the quantities set correctly, so we're not being billed for too many or too little. that's another thing that you can just set in here. The activity is then under system activities and can be configured like any others to create a ticket or send an alert or anything else like that. So that's kind of how we set up licenses and how you can track them. I'll show you another thing which I've got in here and just talk you through some other ways of getting this information in. So what we've done is we built a full API around license management. And as part of that, we've done some example scripts of how you can get some data from some of the big suppliers. So we've got some example scripts for, let me have a look here, for Ingram Micro and for no, not Ingram Micro, for TD Synnex and Pax8 at the moment. I'll talk you through how that works in a minute. But in here, you can see we're using a custom type. We can come in and we can see like usage history and the purchase history. So usage history is something else we've added in 13. So if you're on a custom type now, you'll actually be able to see the quantity changes as well as just your purchase changes. They're like in-use quantity. So let me just change the screen that I'm sharing and I'll show you the next part of that. Okay, so as I was mentioning, we've got a full API for software licenses. But what we've done with this one is a little bit different to how we've done some of our other API endpoints. So we've created this upsert API endpoint. So this is one which will allow you to just send the same data each time you want to do an update, and we'll take care of all the matching for you. So it basically means I can go in, I can just put in an organization name, I can put in the license name, I can put in the billing type, and then I can just send in what the current quantity is, or I can send in the current users if I've got users assigned. And we'll go and do all the matching at our side for you. So you don't have to do API queries to pull the organization and the license if it exists. You can just use this one API endpoint to make it as simple as possible to either create a brand new license or update an existing one. So what that looks like, if you come to my blog, I've got a few examples here. So as I mentioned, I've done some examples for Pax8, TD Synnex, and also. So we have a look at the Pax8 one. Come down here. Bunch of stuff of just doing how we can make API requests and things and talk to Pax8. But the key thing for updating the licenses is this section here. So all we need to do to create a license is, oops, perhaps if I remember how to use Edge. So in here, what we can do is we give it a license name, we set a description, putting that data from Pax8, set a type to custom, put in the vendor, or put in the publisher. So this could be like Microsoft or any of the other tools and things that Pax8 sells. The vendor's going to be Pax8. Here, I'm just going to put in an organization name for creating that one license, do my quantity and current usage, put it in per license for the cost mode, and then just put in the current cost from Pax8 and the term. Term we're just building up here based on some data from Pax8, but that's also pretty simple to add in. So then every time we want to update this, we can just run and loop this, just run the same call, and we'll do all the matching at Ninja side. So the plan at the moment is we've got the API to be able to do this, but we are planning to build native integrations pretty soon inside Ninja just for some of these things. Hopefully by the end of the year, we're just working on some new things to support that. So yeah, so that's the asset management part. So the next part of this is how can we then go and take this data we've got in here and actually start to bill our customers with that data? Let me swap back into Ninja. So this is where the billing module comes into play. So if we come into administration, actually, have we got any questions at the moment, Jonathan, before I carry on?
No questions, but great prompt. If anybody has any questions about what Luke just showed, don't be shy. Let us know. I did add some links into to your blog, Luke, where you've got those scripts. Also, Luke's blog is great. I mean, he's got some older but really good stuff in there. Yeah, and Spencer gives you some credit too here. But yeah, any questions, let us know. But nothing for right now, Luke.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, so the next part of that is starting to use that data inside your billing. So if we go into NinjaOne billing, what we've added in this latest release is a new quantity source type. So this is a quantity source of software license, which is going to let us start to take that data. So if I come into here, I can create an example. So let's call this Exchange Online, for example. I'm going to just put it under software as my account code, leave this on software license as my source. Billing, let's say we're going to charge $4.99. Here's the first setting where we can start to make a choice using some of the data we've got from license management. So I can either say, if we've got the cost data put into license management via an integration or manually, we can then say to inherit it from the license. If we want to just populate all of that cost information ourselves, we can just come in here and manually set it. So it depends on where you're getting the data from. You can be able to just set the cost exactly how you want it there. So I'm going to do inherit from license here. We can make it taxable and billable. In advance, we've then got the other options we can do around software licenses. So in here, we've got two choices. So we can say how many are the total licenses that have been purchased. So if you're, say, you want to bill your customer for all the licenses they have, you can do total license quantity. If you only want to bill them for the ones which are currently in use, you can choose to use the currently used quantity. So that's essentially taking the two different data values we've got on each license of the used quantity and the total purchase quantity, and you can just pick which one you want to use. What we also have an option here is for an included count. So say we want to bill them for all their licenses, but one of those licenses we use for an admin account for ourselves to go in and test things, or a test account for us to go and try things out. We can say include one, which is going to automatically take one of that quantity whenever it's billed to a customer. So yeah, so these are the settings. So if we choose to just save this one, I'm just going to put this back to not included and save this. So we've created a product. What we can now do is go and add that onto one of our agreement templates. So I've got a managed services agreement template in here. I'm going to come into here, and under products, we've now got software licenses. So in here, I'm going to come and choose to add an existing product and pick my Exchange Online one. In here, I can override the description. I can override the price and change the cost source. And I can also choose to override the license quantity. So this is going to be per agreement, and per customer will be able to override these settings. So I'm just going to apply that now. We've added that onto here and save it. Cool. Okay, so I've now got this set up. One thing you may have noticed is we've not at any point said which license should be used with this product when we've actually trying to charge a customer for it. So how that works is if we come into an agreement here, and let's go back to admin and actually just make it from a template. In the next release, we've added the ability to create agreements from templates directly there, but for now, we just need to create them from here. So I'm going to choose to copy as a new agreement. Let's call this Managed Services Demo. I'll do a start date of today. Organizations, I'm going to go and type this to, actually, let's type it to Drake Interplanetary. Set that to auto. And then if you notice here, we've now added this new license mapping section. So in here, it's going to let us come in and say which license we should assign for each customer. So when we've got this list, it's going to either show just ones which are scoped down to this organization or ones which are scoped to a global level. So in here, I could say this is linked to Microsoft Business Premium, update that. And for Exchange Online, did I actually have an Exchange Online? Not for them, but I have a Business Basic donation, which I can just map to that one. And so this, when it creates that agreement, is going to actually go and assign the specific products on the agreement to these licenses. So if I save that, we've now got the agreement created. So if I come into software licenses here, I can then see in my managed services user and Exchange, if I click into one of these, I've got that license mapped here. If we added a software license product directly to here, I don't know, I don't have any spares. Let's go and just remove one. And choose to add an existing. When I add it, we can then just come and do the mapping in as we add the license in as well. Okay, so if we save this now and close this, if we go and find that customer, got our managed services demo, and if you choose to preview this one, it's going to go and pull those license counts based on what we have set up inside software license management. This will then, whenever you update the license counts there, it'll automatically update things here. We'll track all the history inside software licenses, and in the future, we're going to introduce proration. Another thing we've got coming in software licenses in our next release is the ability for device licenses to start tracking the last time they were used. So if you're doing a per device automatic one, you'll be able to see exactly in the licensed devices, it will tell you which device, the dates and when each device last used that bit of software as well. So you'll easily be able to see, is this software even being used by someone? Or can we just reclaim this license back and reduce our license cost? So yeah, that's some of the cool things we've added recently, and that's now that full end-to-end life cycle of being able to track your license information and then bill your customers for it.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Luke. So Matt did have a question. This kind of goes back to the prior to the billing side of it, but I think there's a specific question which I'll ask, but there's also, it kind of gets at a broader thing of, okay, now that these capabilities are being built inside Ninja, how does this plug into the broader NinjaOne automation engine, right? What are some of the things that you can be doing with conditions and policies and whatnot to interact with this stuff? And so his question is, any plans to be able to populate licenses from Ninja scripts? For example, detecting X service installed on 6 devices, add those 6 licenses to that client.
Yep. So we actually support that today already. So cool. If we come into one of our per device automatic ones here, we've got device group options. So this is where you can utilize any of our device filters. You can save that as a group and then just target the licenses off that group. So this means you can do custom fields, you can do any other things that we can filter by. So if we go to device search, come into here, I'm not sure if did we actually add a services filter. Don't think we did. So what we can do is you could have a script which sets a tag or populates a custom field, build a filter out here to either by tags or custom fields, save that as a search group, and then use that in a software license to be able to automate the licenses based off any criteria you'd like that you can filter off inside Ninja.
Cool. Very cool. Matt, did that answer your question to your satisfaction? Are there any other follow-up questions? Let us know. Oh, he did have another tag onto that. Subsequently mapped to another PSA. And so let's say that folks are wanting to, they're using Halo, they're using, manage anything else. The way that this is being built, we're building all these things internally within Ninja. Is it, how are these interacting, if at all, with some of those other integrations?
So we don't have plans at the moment to start pushing that data over. We've not got too many requests for it. So if it's something you'd like to see, please just make a feature request on the dojo. And it's something we can consider. On the Halo side, they do build the integration themselves. We have a full public API for software licenses, so it'd be easy for them to add in and start bringing that data in if they wanted to.
Cool. All right. We got a good approval from Walker and Matt. So thanks for that. We did get a question, Luke. Well, let's keep this on topic for just a little bit longer. Anything else that anyone has questions about in terms of software license management, now being involved in Ninja, having these additional capabilities, ways to chain things together where managing that, tracking it, billing for it is less of a headache for you guys. Anything that you'd like to see too? I mean, in addition to Luke, what he was showing, I think, Luke, you did a really good job as you were showing things out. I think it's hopefully clear for any of you all who have been with Ninja for a while now. We're releasing very regularly. These things are definitely, in fact, the things that Luke is showing, it's kind of like going back in time for him. He's already thinking a couple of releases ahead. But basically we're on roughly a quarterly basis. And so a lot of new things to come. All these things that he's showing are in active development. And we definitely rely on you all to guide us there. We want to hear your feedback. We want you jumping into these things, being beta testers. If that's something you're interested in, you can reach out in Discord or talk to your account manager about that. But anyway, your feedback is what helps build all these things. So thank you all for being on these streams and for being active and reaching out. So, okay. With that said, if there's no other questions, this will be the last call for him. Spencer is wondering, well, okay, yeah. Are there any special things that you could tease us with, Luke? Any other additional things you'd want to bring up?
Let's have a quick think. Let me have a look if I've got anything enabled in here.
Never hurts to ask.
Oh yeah, so one other thing we released in 13, for people using PSA or Service Desk, they'll have ticketing as well. So we've introduced an early access for service level agreements now. So you can start to track on a ticket. You can come in and see how much time you've got remaining to apply to a ticket, track exactly your response times, and just start to extend that a little bit more. So yeah, that's if it's something you're interested in, you can talk to your account manager and they can turn it on for you. It's just the first release at the moment, so it's going to be a couple of releases until we can get it generally available. We're adding in some like better adding notifications in for it and adding reporting before we make it GA. But we've got the first bits of it in now where you can start to actually track it on a ticket level and have columns on your ticket boards to actually see what's going on and what you need to action next.
Very cool. It's been very cool to see how quickly all this stuff has been developing too, Luke. Last thing, can you remind folks where the template library is? If they're wanting to use out-of-box
template library is under administration, and you go to library and you go to automations, and then there's a template library tab here. So these are all the scripts that we have an internal team we call the out-of-box team who spend their time just writing scripts to put into Ninja and help you guys out. So there's a huge library here of many different things that you can do to extend and use Ninja. We've got 320 at the moment.
Very cool. One other shameless plug for Discord. That server, that community has grown so bigly. I can't talk right now. I need more coffee. It's huge. There's a ton of activity in there. And folks are sharing scripts there. It's actually become a really good seeding ground for what scripts are people looking for? What are they utilizing? What should we be plugging in directly into Ninja? And so I know Mark and the team look at that and are interacting with folks there. So again, just a really cool example of the community sharing information, helping each other out, and then that making its way into Ninja too. Okay, cool. Last thing, MSP GeekCon. For those on the call who are MSPs, it's a show that I believe, wow, is this the fourth year of it, Luke? I'm not sure. Yep. Third or fourth.
Fourth year.
It's going to be in Orlando next week. If you're going, you probably have already made plans already. But if you're in that area and you're on the fence with it, we do have a couple free passes left. You could comment here on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. Or reach out to us in the Discord. Let me know if you're interested in it. We do have some free passes that would be cool. It's gonna be in Orlando. Ninja's involved there. We have a booth, but we also are doing a pre-day workshop all around well, yes, of course, AI, but not just doing AI just to do it, right? We're actually, Luke is going to be leading a really cool workshop design to help folks take things from the experimentation phase into, okay, what are the guardrails you need to have in place? What are the things you need to think through as you're bringing AI into your production? It's coming together really nicely. Walker's asking about flights from Australia too. Well, let me talk with you offline about that. But that's going to be on Sunday, May 17th, 1 to 4. And then Ninja will be present, participating in MSP GeekCon throughout. We also, Robert mentioned, Robert's going to be helping out with the game room. And so we're also sponsoring the game room there. We've got some really fun things in store. Anyway, just wanted to call that out for everybody. Really looking forward to it. So if you're going to GeekCon, be sure to check out our pre-day. Come by the game room on Sunday night and stop by the booth, and we'll give you some swag. We got some good shirts coming. All right. With that, Luke, thank you so much. I know you're super busy. We'll let you go. But thank you for everything, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you on Thursday.